gameplay demo. So this game to me, when I first saw it, was like, oh my god, they're doing like Shadow of the Colossus meets Monster Hunter meets Tomb Raider, and now you get to see him. She fucking exploring this world. So now it's like Witcher and Final Fantasy 15 is a huge world to explore. You get loot. You get I just look. This game, it just keeps getting better. And this is coming from someone who fucking thought that Gorilla would never make a good fucking game after Killzone 3. And these guys have proved that you give them a game that's not generic and boring, they're going to give you something special. And I think Horizon is going to be probably one of the best games of next year. And it's coming out in fucking February. So super excited for this game. I cannot be more excited.
Yeah, I mean, I've been excited about it since they revealed it at last year's E3. I think it looks very, very interesting. And plus, it's got this dialogue system, which some people aren't as big fans of, but I think that those add um, just more insight to the story and to characters when it's used well. I think that the gameplay mechanics look very, very interesting with like the different types of bows and different types of weapons that you have, and just the different tactics that you have to use to take down these mech creatures. I think that it looks like a very interesting game. I'm very curious to see more of what the actual story is going to be and kind of what this main character's motivations are for kind of hunting down these creatures and trying to, and what this like virus that seems to be contaminating them is from. And I'm just very excited to see more of this thing. And we probably will see more of it just in the months to come leading into the February release.
Yeah, definitely a game I'm super excited for. And then another game where I love the trailer was so on the gameplay. And that's Days Gone. I am not writing it off for anything. First, I could have swore this was fucking Last of Us 2.
I think everybody thought this was Last of
Yeah.
Us 2.
I was just waiting for Naughty Dog's name to pop up. We still don't know who's developing this fucking game. They just still haven't announced it, unless they announced it after. But this game, just the trailer was very much similar to Last of Us in the sense that I felt sadness in a 2-minute trailer just from having that whole montage of his wife on the bike and then gone. Really, to me, was very special. And then the gameplay was good, but it felt very unfinished. Felt like I saw the zombies like kind of fell out, like just clipped through the things and so on. I was impressed with the amount, but overall, this game didn't like grab me like I need to buy it. But I am intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued to try this game.
Yeah, I feel like this one will be more of a rental for me personally than anything, just because, I mean, unless it just gets blown away in reviews with like story, like gets praised by story or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is probably more of a rental than anything for me, just because, I mean, the trailer again looked like Last of Us, so I was interested until they revealed the actual name of the game, and then I'm like, maybe not as much. So I don't know. It seems like they're just trying to do the zombie thing in a new and creative way, which I think that they're going to do. But there's no substance to it, and they just kind of try to uh, take lines from Last of Us and other successful zombie-esque games that are set in like realistic worlds.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna do as well as it maybe wants to.
Yeah, I think it would have been a bigger surprise if he had said Last of Us or it came out with the name Walking Dead. Like, this is the Walking Dead game that people have been waiting for. I think it would have been more interesting. But either way, looks okay. But the next one looks interesting. We Happy Free, a few. Uh,
I'm very excited for this thing.
yeah, I liked the trailer a lot. When I watched the gameplay off screen, I thought it was okay. But overall, I don't have much to say about it because I got to actually play it. I feel like this is a game I have to play to know if I'm going to like it. Very cool art style. Reminds me of Bioshock, but more fun. And that's really it. Looks okay.
Yeah, that's the main reason that I'm very excited about this is because it had a very big Bioshock feel to it, especially with Bioshock Infinite feel to it. Because, I mean, it's set in a world where people, in order to like suppress sadness and anger and depression and whatnot, they take these pills called joy, and it's basically supposed to put a smile on everyone's face, and it's a very scary reality. And so once someone finally does not take the pills and sees the reality of like what the situation is, like you're not eating cake or a pinata or candy, you're eating like a dead rat. And it just, I'm very curious to see where this thing goes in regards to like just the depth of the corruption and deception within this world, and it's from some of the creators of Bioshock Infinite as well, like some people who worked on that game. So I think that's why it has that feel to it. And I'm very excited for this thing because it has that level of intrigue that makes me want to just like dive into this world, examine everything that I can, and just learn as much about it as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think the best part about it is that if they play it right, it can be a great psychological, almost
Yeah.
horror type experience where I think that's Bioshock Infinite failed with its story. But anyway, that's for another time. Let's move on to Detroit. Was it Detroit Become Human?
Yeah.
Um, I love Heavy Rain. I love well, I didn't love Beyond Two Souls, but I thought it was good. And I'm excited for it. Love the idea that they're actually pushing the everything matters and can change in multiple scenarios instead of just really all your choices come down to two different outcomes. This you can see just in the clip alone that it could have ended like 6 or 7 different ways, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm excited for this one. This is one where I'm actually pretty excited to play. Graphics are insane. It's just definitely a game. It makes it like more like a Blade Runner meets Heavy Rain. It's Heavy Rain, a Blade Runner version of Heavy Rain, basically.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, just based on the trailer, if they're gonna take kind of a page from Life is Strange to the degree where, if you come to an ending or like a conclusion that you're not satisfied with, like the kid being dragged off the roof with the guy, you can kind of rewind your choices, go back to the beginning, look for more clues, look for more ways to like avoid the situation to change the outcome, and then retry again until you get an outcome that you're satisfied with.
I still got to
Um,
play that game.
I'm just very curious to see because that's what the trailer kind of seemed to kind of influence is like the idea that you can keep examining the tree and learn more about the person that you're dealing with or the situation that you're dealing with until you come up with a way to at least get an outcome that you as the player are satisfied with.
Yeah, it's definitely an interactive novel type game, kind of. So I'm excited. I like them all. Usually, Heavy Rain being probably my favorite of all
Yeah.
those types. So hopefully we get.
And also the idea that like the main character is like an android, and so you see like um the discrimination or like the dislike about androids because at the beginning of the trailer you see like the mother of the child who's being taken hostage. She realizes that it's an android who's supposed to negotiate the release of her kid.
Yeah.
She just doesn't like that, and so I'm very curious to see how that um, reality kind of influences like the job and like people's reactions to you,
Yeah.
and seeing like how much you have to kind of disguise yourself as human while also like using your android as skills to solve situations.
Yeah, it definitely can bring very very important themes and topics that most games ignore, like racism is one of the biggest ones. So I hope that they do push that. But next up is the big old Zelda. I don't have much to say about this game. Very pretty. I like the art style. Um, it was cool to show off all the things you can do, but all I can think in my head was like, yeah, most games can do this for years now, like climbing and cooking and chopping down trees. Like games like Monster Hunter have done the whole cooking thing and hunting, and Last of Us, well, not really that much, but like games like Skyrim and stuff have done this. Fallout, where you could do all these things for years. Assassin's Creed, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, this has been done. Very cool looking. I'm gonna probably buy the new system and play it. I just was just like, okay. I was just very meh.
I mean, I'm kind of on the same page to a degree. I was impressed with it. I mean, Zelda always looks really good, depending on like what type of art style they decide to go with.
Yeah,
Um, and I like the fact that that Nintendo is trying something new with the gameplay, and
finally.
kind of diverging from their same general format and system. Like you have to kind of discover the story for yourself, instead of just being like, oh hey, um, Ganondorf took Zelda again. Go fight him and take down 4 temples to do that. Um, and so I'm curious to see what they do with it. I mean, I'm probably not going to get it because I haven't like touched Nintendo console outside of the 3DS in a number of years. So I'll just kind of see how it does and kind of stay away. But until Nintendo releases something on the NX or whatever it's called, that I like desperately want to get my hands on, and I like feel like I need to get my hands on, such as like a console version of Pokemon, as I mentioned in the preview, which would sell massive amounts of consoles. I'm probably not gonna get my hands on it anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big thing. Next game that's coming is Death Standing, which again, I'm excited. Kojima is great. Metal Gear 5 was fun. I gave it way too high of rating when I rated it, but it's okay. It is looks interesting, and I do like what's his name, Norman Reedus.
Yep, no more Reedus.
Yeah, Reedus. Very cool actor. Underused in just about everything he's in now, sadly. But I'm excited for this game because it looks wacky as fuck, and Kojima does not have the constraints of Konami, and then he's just gonna be like, I'm gonna just make whatever the fuck I want, and so he's like, he has the money, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I'm excited. I mean, I wanted the Zone of Enders 3, but it's okay. We'll forgive you, Kojima.
I think that this is going to be very heavily influenced by what Silent Hills would have been. I think because it still stars Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus is going to star in that game, and I think so. I think that they're taking a lot of probably the story elements, a lot of the gameplay mechanical ideas that they were going to use in Silent Hills, putting a new title on it, and just kind of reworking it so that's not an exact duplicate. So I'm very excited for this thing because. When I was watching the trailer being debuted live, I was texting a friend of mine who was also watching it, and from the instant that I saw Kojima show up on stage, I'm like, I think they're going to announce Silent Hills, and then they just like start showing Norman Reedus, and it just seemed more and more like a possibility, and then they showed the actual title, but I just feel like this is going to be another version of what Silent Hills could have been, and
I think this will be Silent Hills had to follow still like the Silent Hills structure, where this is like Kojima off the rails, and that's could be a really good thing or really bad. We'll see. But I'm excited. I want to see gameplay before I get too excited, but it just kind of looked interesting, and I do like weird shit.
That you do.
Next up is a game that I've been super excited for since they first showed it, For Honor. This game is heavily focused on multiplayer, but they actually got to show off some of the single player. The best way I can describe it, and I don't mean this as a negative because some people right away, is it looks like a better version of Rise. And I know a lot of people hated Rise. I thought it was decent, looked beautiful. Gameplay kind of got a little boring at the end, but this looks like a better version of that. But we all know that we're playing this game for the online. It looks phenomenal. To have 3 of your buddies in the clans of Vikings versus samurais or knights, and just being able to come and save your friend with a sword right through the back of one of your enemies is just, it looks phenomenal. So if they live up to what they're showing on these trailers and these gameplay, For Honor is probably going to be one of the greatest multiplayer revolution ever in the gaming world, in my opinion, if they hit all the notes.
I think I agree with that. I think that it is going to make a lot of bold strokes within the gaming community in regards to like multiplayer and just this unique type of gameplay system that they're going to use. And I think if it is successful, if it's done well, if it works as well as it's being shown, it's going to be just kind of a new thing that a lot of people are going to end up copying. And kind of like how when Gears of War started using a cover system, like a lot of games now use a cover system. That's just kind of like you have to use it. And I think that could be like a milestone game which comes out to do that. Myself, I'm not terribly interested in it just because it seems so multiplayer focused. And for me, I need games with a half decent story in order for me to really get invested into it. So we'll see what happens with it. I'm curious about it, but I don't think that I'm going to be getting it day one.
Gotcha.